day, just another day. I prayed soon as I woke, never thought I'd be the victim of a paralyzing stroke. I woke up at 5:20 just to start my day to day. On this morning I'm feeling different, damn, feeling some kind of way. I got my coffee, then got my daughter ready, headed out the door. Things seem a little different, I got a headache, damn, for sure. So I'm off to the babysitter, Miss Mimi is the mom. As I'm leaving, she was asking, was there something going on?
Hello, everybody. How you guys doing today? I am so happy and excited for you guys to actually see what's going on with me tonight. I wish you could see my background. I try to change it a little bit different. You can see my TV and everything else, but it's night side out here, and you can't see the beautiful view out here in Panama, but doesn't make a difference. I have something great for you guys, even better than the view. I have a guest that's been on my show before. I call her my big little sister, and you'll see why in a second, but this person is very dear to me. She was on my show before, and she spoke to us about getting the bag. And I'm going to let her explain what that means a little bit further. But the show title is Strike 3, but I'm still here. And I'm very curious on what that actually means to this particular person. So without any further ado, let me bring to my stage the great, the lovely, my beautiful sister, Kenya Robinson. Hello, Kenya. How you doing, my sister?
Hello, little brother.
Mine, I'm 6'3". She's probably like 5'6". But I'm so happy that I have you on the show today. But before we get started on talking to you about your story, about whatever happened to you and what you're doing now, I want you to tell us about your background and why you are a person that could be on Deaf Taught Us How to Live.
Well, I suffered a stroke back in 2019. And I always tell, well, now I'm more comfortable saying that I didn't know at the time. I thought it was my first stroke. It was actually my third. And you and I spoke 5 years ago. And at that point, I felt like I was very well into just the recovery phase. And then, as you know, life happens, and it happens wonderfully. So, yeah. I hope I didn't lose you.
You didn't lose me, but I want more. What actually happened to you? You know, you said saying the stroke, and there's other things that's happened to you that is the reason why we have 3 strikes. So I want more information. That's why I was giving you more space. You know, you're being a little bit quiet. I know you had 3 strokes, but you also are a person that went through cancer, and you also are a person that had a business that you recently closed down. So can you just break that down to us a little bit further so people can understand where you came from, so they can understand where you are now?
Yeah. See, I thought you were going to slow walk it. You're like, let's just get to it. Yeah. So the stroke happened. And then I'd like to think that I was in a recovery phase, a discovery phase, and went through a journey where post-stroke pain was horrible. Like, I was at a point of trying to understand, is this what quality of life is supposed to look like? And if it's not, how do we change it? Went through a whole entire pain regimen, and that really began to change my mindset and how I thought. I've always been an entrepreneur. I had this stroke while I was teaching a dance fitness class, and that's literally been my business since forever. It'll be 17 years in November that I've been an instructor. But then 2024 hit, and I got the diagnosis of early stage breast cancer. And they went in for a first surgery thinking, oh, we came up on this and we'll go and get it out. And after the first surgery, it went to pathology, and they were like, the margins aren't clean. There's still cancer. So the doctor came back and said, we can do another surgery. I'm sure we'll get it this time. And went in and took more tissue, came back, and the margins still weren't clean. And at that time, she was like, I think it is much larger than we anticipated. And I was like, I can't go through this anymore. Take them. I'm done. So she came up with a very she came up with a resolution that I was very pleased with. And she got a team of doctors to handle reconstruction. Of course, a neurologist had to step in, because I don't know that people know, cancer was a challenge. Like, cancer was hard. I've never been the type of person to go, why me? Like, wasn't like that for stroke. I was like, yep, you needed a timeout and God said so. So go sit in the corner. But when I got that diagnosis, I was like, okay, God, why me? That was something that I truly didn't understand. And then when you're in a room of doctors and you're still trying to protect the stroke aspect, and then you're learning all these new things about cancer and the what ifs, it's like, well, how does that play with stroke? And I couldn't get doctors at first to see that the two things had to coexist and that I needed to coexist in them. And wound up switching to a whole nother team. And the second set of doctors that I had were extraordinary. She knew my goals, she knew my wishes. And then when I made the decision to have the bilateral mastectomy, she really she came through in a major way. Um, yeah, so that happened. And then now 2025, I'm in a new body, cancer free, and just looking at the trajectory of what's next. Um, I did have my business. I closed it last month. A very, very difficult decision. Very difficult decision. But I think where one door closes, another one opens, and sometimes additional windows open. I miss my business, but I am now walking into some new things. This year started with being able to be a part of, or being selected to be a part of, the American Heart Association class of survivors. That's been extraordinary because it really gives a voice to not only stroke survivors, but also heart survivors. And walking that journey with 11 beautiful women. I mean, these women are like now my new sisters. I am just, my eyes are open to so much. And when I started that, or became a part of the group, my whole mission was to be able to bridge the gap between being a stroke survivor and the science behind it. The American Heart Association is doing so many wonderful things. And to be able to walk into a room where you have thousands of doctors and health professionals focused on stroke and what they can do to make it better for the people who survive it. Like, I was blown away. I had no idea. So I think it's taking the realness of the situation of what we go through and what they're trying to do and have that conversation, which I feel is so important. So you got it, Greg. Stroke.
Okay, you gave me the whole shebang bang. Hey, I appreciate you, sister. I appreciate you, but you know, first of all, I didn't know that all this stuff that was going on with you, and I'm so happy that you are cancer free and
Thank
you
you.
actually are here to speak to us about that. I know it's difficult, and I'm not sure if it's too hard to talk about both of these things at the same time. But you are my big sister, so I know my big sister could probably handle it. So you did tickle around with it. I do want the audience to understand what we're talking about here. And if you guys do have questions out there in TikTok land, Instagram, and YouTube, Facebook, please put it in the comments. We'll make sure that we'll read them, and Kenya will answer them for you. How was it knowing that you are a stroke survivor, and then you get in the news that boom, now you're dealing with cancer? That's do you have to put yourself in a different mind state, or is it the same type of mindset you had when you had your stroke?
No. The two were completely different. I got the news on a day that I had jury duty. Matter of fact, I had the appointment, was at jury duty, and they were dismissing us for lunch, and my appointment was for 1 o'clock to call in. And the nurse told me, she said, when we call you, we'll either, if the results came back and you do, we'll just call you and say we need to schedule an appointment. And you're not going to get many details, but just know that appointment will be very comprehensive, or we'll call you and just say your results were benign. And so I remember sitting in jury duty going, I really want them to call, and I'm praying that it will be benign. And I wound up going to the person at the counter and just letting her know, hey, I've got this phone call coming. Is there a private place where I can have a phone call? Because I really want to serve my jury duty. And she was like, what's wrong with you? No, go home. We will sign off of it for the year. Take your appointment in the privacy. So I'd gotten home, gotten in a comfortable place to say this could go either way. Regardless, we're going to handle it the same way we've handled stroke. We'll take it head on, and like it will be whatever it will be, and we'll press forward. Well, that was all well and good to prep before the phone call, because when she dropped the news, I was just kind of stunned. And then it became, let's just be curious for a moment and figure out what needs to happen next. When I was presented with the options and realized that my doctor wasn't even considering stroke, that's when I started to get nervous, because I felt like my voice wasn't being heard. And the biggest thing is when you have surgery and you've had a stroke, for them to put you on general anesthesia slows how the blood circulates through your body. So when it slows to the brain, you could potentially have another stroke. And nobody was thinking about that. When I got to the second set of doctors, she said, I want to have you sit with a neurologist, because I hadn't even hit 5 years. And usually, it's the 5-year window before you can go under. And the neurologist was like, if you don't have to have surgery, don't do anesthesia. And I was like, but I have to have surgery. And he was like, let's take it light. I think you should do like a twilight sleep if they can do that. So my first 2 surgeries were done under twilight sleep. And when I had the first surgery, the anesthesiologist told me, she was like, I'm going to tell you now, you might wake up in the middle of the surgery. If you do, we're going to put a sheet up so you can't see anything. She goes, I will be sitting on your right-hand side. Just turn to me and go, hey, I'm awake. So I did wake up in the middle of the first surgery, and I could hear the doctors talking, and they were laughing. And I turned to her and I was like, hey, what's the joke? I want to laugh too. And she was like, no, not right now. And then I was right back out. Second surgery, same thing. I woke up at the very end of the surgery and I heard them say, okay, let's close her up and hope we got all of it this time. And I told her, I said, I'm awake, but can I stay awake to finish the rest of it? And she let me. I guess they were far enough to closing, because I couldn't feel anything, that she did let me stay awake. But third surgery was the biggest concern. When I got the results in September and it came back that the margins weren't clear, and I made the decision to have the bilateral mastectomy, I told the doctor, I'm getting ready to come up on my 50th birthday. I want to have a birthday. So can we not have this happen until after my 50th? And she was like, yeah, let's do that. Have your birthday. His birthday's in October. And my stroke anniversary's in October too. So on the 1st, I celebrated 5 years for the stroke. And then on the 20th, I celebrated my 50th birthday. And she goes, I'm going to be honest with you. There's 50% chance that you're not going to wake up. Like, It'd be different if you had a cancer that was going to kill you. But what may kill you is the fact of the stroke and the blood slowing down and you having a fourth stroke. So I got in the mindset that this may be it. I've always had a very close relationship with God. Like I've always believed in God, but walking with God happened after the stroke. Because I was like, if you're putting me in timeout, show me what you want me to do differently, or show me what you want me to learn. And then cancer became, if this is my lesson in submitting, then I'm submitted. You're in full control. Like I have no control here over the circumstances or anything. And I remember going to church and just being like, if this is the end of my life, then I would love to have this 50th birthday where I celebrate with all my friends and family. I don't want gifts. I just want people to come. If you've got a joke, if you've got a song, if you've got a dance, then that's what I want you to do. Because I wanted it to be a festive celebration. And in my mind, if I had the potential of not waking up, then I'd get a chance to have basically a funeral while I'm still here. That's kind of how I viewed the whole celebration. So when everybody came, I'm thinking we're just going to have like a fun night of performances and comedy. Everybody came with a message to say to me, like something significant. And I was so moved by that night. Like that night, and everybody that was there, they will never know just how much that night meant to me. Because after it was over, I was kind of convinced in my mind that the surgery would be it. Like God gave me what I needed. He gave me that love. He gave me that time to embrace. And when we came upon the date, I called my sisters and I said, because when you have surgery, they let everybody come back, but talk to the doctors, and you get to have love around you before you go under the knife. I called my sisters and I was like, only send my children back. I want to have time with my children. And I didn't disclose to them what I didn't disclose to anybody what the doctors had said. Right. But I figured if this is the last time, then I want to. And then when I was in the surgical room, God was like, no, have everybody come back. So everybody got to come back. And in my mind, again, I was saying goodbyes. Had the surgery, and then this eye popped open, and then this eye popped open. And I was like, oh, I still get to be alive. And then I had a little Jesus dance in the bed. And the nurse came and she was like, you okay? Is everything all right? And I was like, I'm praising God because I'm here. I'm praising God. So this is my purpose, and this is what I'm here to do. So I'm fulfilling the assignment. 100%.
Okay, so now the next question I had is pretty much answered, but I'm gonna go with it anyhow. I have people on TikTok is actually, I guess they're being moved to tears or. Oh. I have Cheryl Harris is saying, "Oh, my D word," and also she's putting a lot of hearts and praises to you, and hopefully that resonates with you and make you.
It does. It does.
So I'm wondering, and I guess you kind of answered it, but I do want to hear that transition from you coming from opening your eyes and you knowing that you're going to live to being not just a person that's living, but a person that's becoming an advocate. Like you said earlier, you're working with the AHA and you're doing so much other stuff in the world. What was that actual aha moment and say, you know what, I'm living, it's time for me to get out of bed and start helping out others? What was that?
So I think we all go through a period when the weight of not only what we've been through, the circumstances, the consequences, then we have the physical, the cognitive. We live in a house where people have no idea what's happening inside our brains. For me, I present very normal, but inside it's listen to my sound. And so needing to get out of that, I wanted to see what others are doing and talk to others. And that's where that began.
Okay, here come the floodgates. Everybody wants to talk to you now. So, producer, can you bring up the first comment that's on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook? My God, you are a miracle and a blessing. Do you know this person, Zaire Zeus? One?
No. But
Okay, so
thank you, Zaire Zeus One.
also we have someone from Instagram saying something to you as well. Let me go over there and read it. We have hope for stroke survivors. Incredible story and so inspiring.
Thank you.
So yeah, so that was the transformation, and you understand that you need to give back because God has given you. He has talked to you. I had a similar type of conversation with God when I had my stroke. I was like, let me live for my daughters, and He gave me a chance to do that. So I'm constantly doing things, and my perspective of life is completely different. I look at things different, and I treat people differently because I don't want to waste people's time. Are you
Right.
on that same type of mindset? And do you want to
Absolutely.
expound on that?
Absolutely. I think I mentioned, when you go through this, you're really into self. And to be able to step out of self to help others can really remove those walls that you've built around you. Mindset is everything, perspective is everything. And when you look at somebody else's perspective of how they walk, especially people who've been in this a little bit longer than I have, but they really have that strength, that resilience that everybody talks about. It kind of opens up your world to think, wait, maybe I can do it this way. Or wait, maybe when someone was saying blah, blah, blah to me, it was really meant in a kind way or a compassionate way or an empathetic way. And it wasn't an attack the way that I might have necessarily taken it the first time. I think people forget what we go th- oh well, no, I won't say forget. They don't know what we cognitively go through. They don't know the struggles even in within decision making. But he gave me a chance to share with others, hear what others are going through, and be able to speak to kind of open up the I don't know how to say it, how to open up the field and find not only the positivity but the hope and joy again. I know I lost hope. I know I lost joy, and a lot of that was restored, just where God wanted me to lead, and some of the many people He's brought into my life. So I'm grateful for that. Like, I have gratitude every day for that.
Okay, speaking about people that brought into your life, I'm gonna give you a story about my life. I was traveling on a train with my daughter to California, and when I got to California, I met two beautiful women, and they took me out to lunch. One of them was you, and the other one was Betty
I
Howard.
love Betty.
Yeah, love Betty. But that's the thing. Like we meet people now that we probably would never have met if this didn't happen to us. But it did happen to us, and now we have family for life.
Heck yeah.
How does that happen? Like, how does that transition happen for people that don't understand that? Like, we are in a fraternity sorority that people don't understand it, but we understand it, and it's like so natural, and we love it. How did you actually feel that and embrace that actual moment of meeting new people and making new family, making new brothers, making new sisters?
Oh, I will tell you. When I could not find, I love my family. I do. They have done their absolute best. My children are amazing. But there's only so far that they can go. And I remember thinking, I need to find some people who are going through this. The first people I found was you. And I watched a bunch of your podcasts or YouTube shows and Trizana Staples. And then you introduced me to Betty, who is also goes by Stronger Than Stroke on TikTok and on Instagram. Look her up. She's phenomenal. And she's going to kill me for telling this story because Betty and I've become really, really good friends. But I actually commented on something that Betty had posted. She did a post about balance, and balance was a huge thing. I am always working on my gait. I don't have depth perception on one side. And there was something that she was doing that I was like, maybe now I'll get it back. And I remember commenting on it and asking a question, and she never commented back. So we have this back and forth because she was like, you never messaged me. And I was like, I did. I commented on your post and you ignored me. But it became full circle when you introduced me to her. We found out that we lived 20 minutes away from each other. We both worked in the same industry. And it's been a beautiful friendship ever since. Matter of fact, I closed my center and she said to me, I know the perfect company where you could get back into what you were doing, made a phone call, and I'm now back in the workforce. So, the way we begin to feed off each other, the way we begin to help one another. Me and Betty showed up when you came on the train because you're a big part of our lives. Like you've helped the both of us. So, and then it's just, you click on like and follow, you click and like and follow, and you begin to open up and have new conversations and figure out how you can relate to stroke survivors or help stroke survivors. Right now, I talk to people who are dealing with long term chronic illnesses. Um, Cancer, not as much. There's a little bit of that, but more stroke and long term chronic illnesses because being in pain for a long time or having a situation that outruns people's compassion and empathy, and you're still left there with no one to talk to, those are real things. Those are real situations, and they need to be addressed. People suffering in silence is not okay. Not now, not ever.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that, and I think you hit it right on the head. You found somebody, and you guys became really close. But a lot of people are suffering in silence, and we don't want that. So that's why we have to have this community. That's how we have to have our brothers and sisters that understand this. Not saying that our family is not important; they just don't understand what we're going through. So finding people that understand what we're going through, and you don't have to explain it to them,
Yeah.
it's golden. Am I
Yeah.
right?
1,000,000%.
Okay.
A
Okay.
million percent.
So now let's talk about you today, because the whole title of the show is Strike Three, but I'm still here. So what is still here? What does that look like for you? What are you doing with your life to make people understand who Kenya Robinson is and why she's doing what she's doing?
I don't know that it's necessarily focused on Kenya Robinson, more so than it's about the people that I talk to, the family, the community that we're building, and what it produces for the generations to come. I don't think we think about the decisions that we're making today and how it affects our children and our children's children and their children after that. And are those ways that we can necessarily see? No. But the way that we put the next foot forward, the times where it seems so debilitating, but we get up and we go sit outside, or we have a conversation with someone else that makes them smile. That all has um, um, implication, or that all has I still have aphasia, so the words go, but that has a positive result on our central nervous system, which is still in the rewiring process. Like that does not stop. It doesn't stop after 6 months of having a stroke or a year of having a stroke. Your body and your mind are continually rewiring and trying to figure out what the next step is. So that's more of where my focus is. If the blessings come back and I get to experience a moment, then I take the time to celebrate that moment, because those are real, and that gives you the will and the encouragement to keep going.
So we have another comment from Cheryl on TikTok. She says, she's talking about the family not understanding. She's saying, or you try to explain to your family and either don't understand or listen attentively. Yeah, that is a true point. But I want to go back to what you were talking about here and the future. And that really struck with me. I had an interview with this lady. Her name is Jenny Clark. She's Amelia Clark's mother. A lady that played the dragon lady on Game of Thrones.
Okay.
She had 2 strokes, and I interviewed her one time, and she was talking about when she was younger how people looked at cancer as a pariah. They didn't really understand what cancer is. It wasn't really mainstream as it is today, and cancer awareness and things of that nature. The same thing that we're trying to do right now with stroke awareness. A lot of people don't know what a stroke. I didn't know what a stroke was.
Right.
I didn't have no clue what it was. I thought something to do with the heart. I'm like, it's the brain. I'm like, okay, how is this happening with the brain? I didn't know, but now I
Yeah.
know a lot about it. I didn't know that younger people get it. I thought it was old person disease, and now I'm finding out so many other things like children get it. There's hemorrhagic strokes. There's ischemic strokes. I know all these different things now, and what you're doing, and I'm so happy that you are, because I know the first time we had this conversation on our show 5 years ago, you said, hey, I'm gonna keep on getting my bag. I'm gonna be 40, I'm gonna be 50, I'm gonna be 60, I'm still getting that bag. I'm like, okay, cool. I like that. But now I'm really understanding what has progressed. That bag that you're trying to get, that I see, is that you're trying to put a footprint in this industry to make sure that people understand what a stroke is, what community is after you have a stroke, and also prevention of stroke. So I thank you for doing that, and I thank you for actually saying that. And I think our children will benefit from that as well. And that's why I'm glad my daughter is part of this as well. Looking at, she came to California, saw you and Betty, and she was like, Dad, you know these people? Like, nah, I know them from the internet. So why do you know them? Like, they had strokes just like me. They did. They live in their life, and they're so close with you, Dad. They are. I was like, did you ever see that before? No, Dad. But they seen that. They seen how we communicate with each other, how we help each other. So I thank you for what you're doing, and also giving back out to the community and talk about Stronger Than Stroke. It's a very remarkable person. And yes, she does that too. I try to contact her sometimes. I can't get in touch with her. So she's a very busy person. But it's all love. That's,
Yeah.
it is what it is. So, Kenya, the business, you had to get rid of it,
Yeah.
right? And you said it was a very hard thing for you to do. It was about a month ago. So I guess the wounds are still out there, still fresh. It might be a stupid question I'm asking you, but do you have regrets?
Um, no. And I don't have regrets because I obeyed instruction. I actually had the forethought and got insight last year. Um, so I knew it was coming. I will always be deeply empathetic to the people that were hurt by my decision. That's something that stays with me. That's something that I think about, and it's something that I pray for. The message that I received in prayer from God is that there are other things that are happening outside of this business, and this business had to close for those things to grow. Now, do I know what it is? Do I know what is happening outside of this or as a result of this? No. I just have to trust that the decision was the right decision because it's what I was asked to do.
We're gonna get to that just on. I love that answer, but I got somebody from Instagram has given us a comment, so let's go to the Instagram real quick. I have, and please do not destroy me. It's at so fabulous. It says, thank you, so true. I love my family, but those who get it are others and other survivors. Other than, I'm sorry, I'm chopping that up. So I love my family and those who get it, and other survivors as well.
Yeah, I want to make a quick point because you touched on this just a minute ago. I
Yeah,
don't know if everybody knows, but the stroke is one of it's like the one of the top things that is happening to a lot of people.
yeah.
9 million people are living or have been affected by stroke, which means there are people out there, caregivers, family members who are trying to understand this. And the most jacked up thing is it attacks most of our speech and our ability to comprehend, to even tell people what this is about and what is happening. So there's got to be a way for us to decode it And if it means decoding it within our community, then let's all be superheroes and do that. That's why I appreciate what you do.
Thank you so much. And you are right. There's a lot of, and I don't like to call it this way, but I'm gonna call it. There's a lot of closet stroke survivors. They're
Yeah.
surviving in silence, and they don't have to. So that's why Deaf Taught Us How to Live has been created. So you can see other people that gone through the same thing that you're going through and make something out of themselves and live life. It's like Kenya had a lot of stuff happen to her, but she might have, like I said, she might have complained, she might have cried, but she realized, and she said this a little bit earlier about she listened. She listened to what her purpose is, and she can't fight it. And I think that's the thing that I have learned as well. I stopped fighting myself
Yeah.
and stopped saying that, hey, before I used to be able to do this, I used to be doing that. Like, well, God has other plans for you. God has other things for you. You just have to trust the plan and go with it.
Yeah.
So when did you finally realize, you know what, enough is enough? I'm gonna stop fighting and listen and just go with it. Wherever it takes me, it takes me.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think I fought stroke because to me it was my spiritual timeout, physically, mentally. I was just talking to someone recently and I told them that it broke my autopilot because I was on autopilot of being ridiculously busy, ridiculously involved, and just over capacity in a major way. And could feel it in my body, but still was like, I'll sleep when I'm dead. And I hate to hear people say that because I literally almost got to experience that. Um, but I think it broke during the cancer when I was like, okay, I'm submitted. I'm open, I'm listening, and we'll just take this day by day. We'll deal with the difficult moments. You have to sit in it. And that's the worst part. You have to sit in it because a lot of times sitting in it begins to the mind thought of places that you can go or things that you've never thought of. It kind of opens up the world and what's available. Um, yeah, that would
What do
be
you?
my.
Whoa, 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 no, no, no. We're not gonna just slide by that one. I like that. You have to sit in it.
You
What do
have
you
to sit
mean
in
by that? Like, what is that? What are you saying to us? Like, I think I understand, but I want to make sure the audience understand what you're talking about. You got to sit in it. What do you mean by that?
just in the mindset. I'm trying to think of a really, really good example. Um, I think I know that one of my most painfulest times after waiting, I think it was after the second surgery, and I know I was waiting for results. The surgeon had said I would hear back from pathology in 3 days, and 3 days wound up turning into 12. And the wait from day 3 to day 12 was just like, I thought I was going to go crazy. Um, and there were a couple moments in the car where I just bawled. You have to have that. You have to have those moments where you bawl. You have to have those quiet moments where you breathe. Um, I've always had, if you like, if there's something in the day that you want to get through, there needs to be a little reward for it. I'm not gonna lie. I used to talk about people who had a Starbucks habit. I was like, yeah, no, that'll never be me. Starbucks is my habit now. Matter of fact, if anybody wants to give me a gift card to Starbucks, you'd be doing me a lovely favor. I love the pink drink with matcha foam, no inclusions. That is like the biggest reward to my day. Okay. If I can end the day, well, not end, but maybe middle of the day because it's got a little bit of caffeine from the matcha, I've done something. So if I'm sitting in grief, if I'm sitting in a challenge, if I'm sitting in sadness, you can even sit in anger. The rule about anger is you can be angry, but you cannot sin. So you figure that part out because that's the challenge. Um, Sitting in it and whatever thoughts come, let them come. Write them out on paper. Talk them out on loud. Talk them out aloud. I'd bawl and then hit record on my phone and would just think about what I was feeling in the moment. Just getting it out of the body so that you're not keeping it inside. Keeping it inside is what crunches and winds up our central nervous system. And don't forget, if you've had a stroke, for most of us, we ball up and we curl in. The reason for that is our central nervous system is protecting our organs from shutting down. Then we spend all this time trying to open up to release. Part of that is mental and emotion. That's got to come out too. If that stays inside, it prevents you from opening back up and letting those organs breathe again. So if you ask me if I'm here for therapy, 100%. If I'm here for talking about it, breath work, exercise, movement, those are all things. The sun, going outside, sitting in sunlight, those are all things that help not only mental health, but help us physically to be able to open up and breathe, release.
What about words? Speaking positive words to yourself or hearing negative things from other people about other people. What about that?
Remove yourself. And it becomes hard to do, but words are everything. Your body's listening and it takes everything in and it stores it. The negative things, learn how to change them into positive things. Again, mindset and perspective are everything. You're going to wake up in the day, or you're going to wake up when you wake up in the morning, grateful. Wake up grateful. Find something that you're grateful for in that day. I wake up every morning and I thank God, because I remember when I used to wake up and I didn't know if I'd have another day coming. And even if he doesn't promise me that tomorrow, because we're not guaranteed, I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for the people that I get to come in contact with. I'm grateful for you listening and hearing this podcast and being here today. And I encourage anybody that I come across or I talk to, you can always reach out to me, DM me. I'm working now, so me getting back is just a little bit tough. When you get back on that 8 to 5, at the end of the day, I'm wiped. And then I have 2 days where I volunteer at a hospital on the stroke floor, and I'm there at night because that's the time when it's hardest for us. And we need people to talk to. And there are family members that don't understand, why are you moaning again? Who need to have that information about the sensitivities or the ways to begin an open communication. That's 100% a lot of problems to begin with. We don't know how to communicate. And for us, it's easy to get small and be like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to be a burden. I'm not going to bring it up again. But meanwhile, your body's like, no, I need you to bring it up. I need you to talk about it because I need you to get past this next feeling so I can get you through the next hurdle. This is all about hurdles and climbing mountains. So we have to get past those steps. And when we use one another to talk to and bounce ideas off, it's how we get stronger. This is you putting on that mask on the airplane. Mask you first for the oxygen so you can be able to do for others.
No, I completely get that. So I have one more question, 'cause I got a lot of people on Instagram and also TikTok want to say things to you. So I'm going to ask this question and get back to them. How do you explain this to people that want to self-sabotage themselves with their words? Now, how do you get them out of that funk?
It starts with accountability. And looking at those words and telling them, kind of putting, the best way for me to explain this is I don't always know how people see me. And sometimes we need that kind of love to know that we're okay. So when they start with the negative, I like to share what I see, the positives of what I see, and the positives of what they're looking to do, and then actionable steps to make that happen. And sometimes that comes with real love, that comes with honesty. And if the person is open to hearing it, and it may not be in that moment, they may be like, oh, Ken, you don't know what you're talking about. But sometimes I hear days later, I didn't want to listen to what you had to say to me, but I thought about it and I could approach it differently. Because sometimes it's not the other person, it's us.
Sister, you're speaking my language. I love everything you're saying right now. But like I promised, we got some people on TikTok and Instagram asking us questions, saying things. So I'm gonna get to them. First, I'm going to Instagram, then I'm going to TikTok.
Okay.
So we're going to Instagram. I got that's so fabulous again. 2 years post stroke, accepting every part of myself and every scared version that has been holding me back from opening up. I am slowly getting there.
Beautiful. This journey is going to transform you in such a way. And I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to hear about it.
Me too. So don't be shy. You could talk to any one of us, DM us, and you can really get answers. We really speak to people.
Yeah,
I have defined the odds 432. Gratitude really does make a difference.
absolutely. It begins to open your heart to other possibilities. And there's something about the peace that it brings. It's not something I can really explain, but it's something that when you feel it, it opens your heart to others and to other things. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm clear on that.
No, no, you're definitely clear on that because I felt that too. Like, and after my stroke, I realized how immature I was mentally and spiritually.
Yeah,
Once this happened to me, I saw things completely different. So I had to learn that, I went through a divorce. I went through a lot of crazy stuff after my stroke, and I was blaming my ex-wife, blaming her, blaming her, blaming her, blaming her. Then I was like, whoa, what part did I have in it? And I, like you said, sitting, I had to sit in it. I'm like, oh, I did this to myself. I can't just blame her because this is who she was. I chose to marry her. If she's going to be this way, okay, I can't be mad at it. I got to put some responsibility on me too. So once I started doing that, I used to have anxiety attacks. I used to go to the hospital for panic attacks. All that stuff went away.
yeah. I remember hearing a sermon, and it was on Judas. And when you hear about Judas, you can think about this, that, and the third, and who did what and how. And then it circled around, and I was like, when
Right.
was I the Judas?
Right.
And I had to sit down and write some letters
Right.
because it's not necessarily on people. I had to look at who I betrayed, who I hurt, and accept responsibility for that. That changes you.
All right. Now we back to TikTok. We have Cheryl. She's giving us a lot of stuff. So most of the stuff we already talked about already. But hey, I'm just gonna say what she is saying. We definitely have purpose. She's saying that's right. I guess that's that sister thing. That's right, girl. I don't know what
Yeah.
That's what y'all do. Or or you try to explain to me, family. Okay, we read that. Love that. Da, 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 facts. That's right. What did you do? Ownership, accountability. So exactly what she's saying. Like, what did you do? What role did you play in this? Whatever relationship, no matter if with a spouse, with a friend, with your family member, what role do you have to do in that relationship? So it's the reason why they're acting this way towards you. Why did you allow it in the past and now it's offended you now?
Yeah.
Whatever growth you have. So, I'm really feeling this. My sister, whew, we've been talking for a while now. So we're at our point that we do what's called our hot seat questions.
Uh-oh.
I ask you four questions. You know about these hot seat questions. You don't be scared of them. You're used to them. There's four questions I ask you. And I just want a 30-second sound clip. And if you are done and you're ready to go to the next question, it's an AVM superhero. I'm ready for my next question. And at the end of the fourth one, I'm going to allow you to close out the show. Say anything you want to say, anything you want to promote. The show will be yours. So are you ready for your hot seat question, my big little sister?
I'm ready for my hot seat questions, AVM superhero.
All right, let's go. Let's get it. First question is what made you become an advocate?
Number one reason I became an advocate is because I did not want people to go through this alone, whether it's long-term illness, whether it's stroke, whether it's burnout, whether it's stress. I want people to know you're not alone. You do not have to get small. And having these conversations is where it begins. AVM superhero, I'm ready for my next question.
All right, big little sister, I got you. Here we go. Question number 2. Lightning bolt or slow burn? Did you see it coming?
What is it?
I didn't hear what you just said.
What is it? Did I see what
Um,
coming?
I know. There's a couple of different things that you had going on. We talked about the 3 strikes. Did you see all 3 of those strikes coming?
No, not at all. I wouldn't say that it was a lightning bolt. I would say it was a slow burn because I feel like as soon as, when you get burned, your skin like hurts, like it's hot for a while. I feel like just as the skin was starting to ease, I was hit with something else. I was hit with something else and then something else. It's been a period of slow burn, but it's been enlightening in a way because it's given me a different mindset. It's given me a new perspective on ways that I can approach things to remain positive, because that's what's most healthy for the body. AVM superhero, I'm ready for my next question.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that, but I like that. No, seriously, I do. I like that because I think people think this is just from day one. We had a stroke, or you had cancer, you lost your job, and everything's uphill. But they don't realize it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, like a roller coaster. It's peaks and valleys, and depression is going to be part of it, and good days is going to be part of it. But you have to be able to manage it, and I'm so happy that you have learned how to manage it and expect for the best, but also prepare for the worst. I really
Yeah,
love that about you, sis.
thank you.
No
Thank you very
problem.
much.
Question number 3.
Okay.
What's one thing you used to stress about that matters zero now?
What people think about me. What people think about me. You get in a mindset of thinking that people see you like you feel the illness, and that's not necessarily so. So I work through whatever the challenges are, and people are going to be people, but it's who am I responsible to, who am I responsible for? What am I accountable to? Is how I tend to think. And if I've offended anyone, intentionally or non-intentionally, then I'll fix it 100%. But what people think, zero. Yeah. AVM superhero. Next question.
All right, my sister. I'm going to look at our other chats to make sure that nobody else is saying anything. Then I'm going to ask you your final question. We on Instagram right now, and on Instagram we have Yolanda saying, "My God, you are a miracle and a blessing."
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, here's your final question. And also on TikTok, we're saying here, we have Cheryl. She's saying, great conversation. So I don't think she's actually commending me. She's actually saying that to you. Showing love to you, sister. But anyhow, here's your final question. Like I said, close up the show. And everybody, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll be back next week with another great episode. But please, please listen to what my big little sister has to say, because she has a lot of great stuff, and like she's going to tell you just in a while, if you need a person to talk with about your recovery, she's definitely the person to be. So are you ready for your final question?
I am.
Let's do it. Are you still getting your bag?
Yes. Yes. Although, when you first asked me this question 5 years ago, in my mind, I was talking about money. Like, I think we both were. But the bag has become so much bigger. The bag is about purpose right now. So, yeah, I'm here to get the bag, not just for me, but for my children. And then again, that next generation. We will all have the bag. This is about creating a legacy. And that's something that I want to do even with this community. So no more suffering, no more. We're going to figure this out. That's the end of my questions. I'm out of the hot seat, AVM superhero. I guess I get to close the show now, so I will do that. I want to mention 2 events. If you're a stroke survivor and you want to just be loved on, there is a wellness event this weekend for my friends in LA, Sunday, August 2nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Visit my Instagram page. I don't have it on TikTok. At Kenya D as in David Rob for the information. Or if you don't see it, message me. I believe there's still availability to participate. There will be connection, support, resources. There's going to be interactive activities just for us. And Sammy, who is the founder of this event, she's doing it in honor of her mom, who was also a stroke and heart survivor. Well, she's passed on, but Sammy does this in her mom's memory. And she has had a lot of people donate gifts and prizes and beautiful things for you to walk away from. So the Second Chance Project this Sunday, downtown Los Angeles. Now, that's West Coast. For my friends on the East Coast, in September, Stronger Than Stroke, and again, Instagram and TikTok at Stronger Than Stroke, is having a beautiful dinner. This dinner last year was 10 courses. The chef, Terrence Tomlin, who is amazing, he's also a stroke survivor. He prepares this dinner and he does it solely for stroke survivors. If you've never had fine dining, you will have it on this night. Visit Stronger Than Stroke. You can RSVP there. I think that there are a few seats left. I know that we are halfway full right now. If you'd like to have a seat, check that out. If you don't find them, again, message me at Kenya, D as in David, ROB, or if you just want to have a conversation, I'm here for that too. I really appreciate you guys being here. I really appreciate you listening and wishing you a wonderful